I know I always start with this, but it's very important because I'm going to be talking about health and all those kind of things, and they think that as soon as you do that, they better shut you down. Do not shut me down, please. Consider what I have to say. I do have a bunch of mentions in different papers, including a case studies paper. Now, what is a case study? I have to get information from you. How do I do that? How do I do that? This is how I do that. Please do not stop this because I need information, I need feedback. And this is what I get from the comments that you will leave. Do not disallow this. I've had it happen before. That's why I keep doing this. Because please, if you see I said something wrong, tell me what I said wrong. I'll take it out. But I have information that is so critical, and you're going to hear my serious voice continue. Okay, my friends, this is so important you can't believe it. Now, I am showing research only, and I was asking if cancer could be cured easily, and if so, how? Is there any documentation? Is there any research? Well, it appears there is. And it appears almost 100% of chronic issues, including cancers, have a specific type of bacteria in your gut that is not there or it is in excess, which means you have too much of some chemistry or not enough of it. It's a balance. You cannot destroy the bad bacteria in your gut. It's going to live there in harmony with the good bacteria, and it'll keep it down. It'll dictate what to do. Stay down, say whoa, 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 whoa. I know we need you now and then, but don't try to get out of control. That's what happens. But you take antibiotics for some little infection that was caused already by probably an MMR vaccine or something like that. There's some imbalance in that little kid's ears or something that where he gets an ear infection because you're going to get water in there. It's going to have bacteria. The bacteria is going to create some toxins and so forth, or whatever it creates, and you're going to react to it. You're going to have inflammation, and you're going to have fibrosis. You're going to have tissue decay. And then they put antibiotics and it kills whatever was attacking you, absolutely. But the rest of you gets killed too. You know, all of the good things, not all of them, but enough where you're going to end up with some issues. And some kids get autism, they get all kinds of terrible things. All kinds of, shaky syndromes and, spacey, can't think, and, backwards development. And autism is very, very, very common now. And there is I'm not going to say always, very often, a corresponding relationship to when they got either the vaccine, which usually was the MMR vaccine, and MIT, I can't remember her name, it'll come to me. She's the glyphosate lady, and I've contacted her, and she's not very nice. She's nice, but I think she has also sort of an opinion that the glyphosate does something to a molecule. I can't remember, and I got to be honest with you, this is getting so old. A lot of this stuff is getting old, and I do so much of this that it's starting to get confusing to me. But I know I talked to her, and she had some take on the glyphosate was replacing something in a glycine, or doing something in that range, or attaching to it, make it not able to be used, or making it too usable. I can't remember. But it was the glyphosate. So, everybody's eating the same stuff. Not everybody gets these issues. So I say it's the gut issues, not necessarily the glyphosate, but not being looked at in that way. I mentioned to her that maybe they should take a look at it in that way. Maybe they are, I don't know. But if it's strictly, if I could give them some kind of bacteria and then whatever the issue went away, I would think that you'd be looking into that a little deeper. And people are telling me that one after another. And the research shows it. I showed you the guy had a complete withdrawal. They rescued him, they said. And that's in some peer-reviewed papers. So, time to take a new look at this research. The problem is if you're in this realm, if you're in the academic realm, and you can start coming up with these revolutionary theories that just are so far away from what mainstream has been preaching, and is still teaching, they put you away from the mainstream. They won't let you participate. So whatever information you have is worthless. That's what happened to me. All right, Herodotus said it thousands of years ago. If your gut health is good, you're good to go. Now listen to this. Gut health, a look inside, reveals that what you eat can affect your pain, even back pain and stuff like this. Explanation of microbiome, how it correlates with pain, and its relation to opioid withdrawal syndromes. I mean, it's everything, symptoms. Now, it's hard to avoid any mentions of gut health these days. Everybody's got a problem with their gut. Since the discovery that our gut and subsequently our immune system and even our brains are influenced by trillions of microbes, scientists have begun searching for ways to manipulate the human microbiome to alleviate a variety of conditions, including pain conditions. Everything, every single condition, 100%. Nothing in you is not affected by your gut microbiome. That is the production factory of the chemistry that you absolutely require to break down food, to make the products you need, to break down fats and carbohydrates and sugars, and to make the immune system create chemicals, literally chemistry kits, and send them out into your body. The bacteria in your body does that. And we have taken antibiotics, and they killed a lot of these good bacteria, and we never realized how devastating that was. They don't repopulate easily. And then you don't have the chemistry. Your genes may be perfect. They say, hey, go turn on the lactobacillus guy down there. And he said, well, they killed him a couple of weeks ago. With the kid had ear infection, and they gave him antibiotics, and now the lactobacillus is gone. So we have no way to deal with that product. And you can literally be in extreme, serious medical conditions extremely fast. And I know this from a terrible personal experience with my father-in-law. He had septic toxic shock syndrome. My mother-in-law had Alzheimer's, and he was taking care of her at home, and he never said a word. Apparently he wasn't feeling too well. My wife went over to see him at like 5 o'clock at night, said, geez, you don't look too good. She took him to the hospital. He was dead in the morning. Dead in the morning. Because his system was overwhelmed. There was nothing, and right now I can tell you what, if he was on the way to the hospital taking probiotics, I think he would have survived. They work instantly. Instantly they work. Just like that. So if they tell you you're going to die, take some probiotics and see what happens. All right, this is absolutely unbelievable how important these things are. From migraines to fibromyalgia, we know it helps in literally everything. This is opioid withdrawals. What foods can I eat to help restore my microbiome? It's maintained by healthy choices and promote microbial diversity. Well, put the probiotics in there. Why not just say, take probiotics? And then they say exercise is good because it keeps your blood flowing good and strong and moves products around through your body. They don't really talk about the probiotics all that much. You know, I mean, and that is what you need, a healthy microbiome. I say use the probiotics, prebiotics, whatever biotics you can get in there. Now, you're going to get attacked every now and then, but if you got your own biotics to kill those other biotics, your case is closed. You never even get a sniffle. That's the key. And these are not that expensive. They can make these very easily, instantly. You can just order them right now. Well, that's what I do. I'm taking them every day now. I have no problems whatsoever. And I have nobody whatsoever on my site that has related any issues that's been taking the probiotics. And I've been asking over and over and over. And if you have it, I want to hear it. I want to know what the condition is and how long you had it for and what type of probiotics you were taking prior to it. Because a lot of people think, oh, I'm taking probiotics. Say, what does that mean? Well, I eat yogurt. Well, that's not probiotics. Well, it is probiotics, but it's not 100% of everything. All right, there's about all these people say, oh, I'm allergic to this and I'm intolerant to that and lactose intolerant, this and that. Well, of course, you don't have the microbiome to create the chemistry to break up those fats and things that they glob into things. They can't break up. They have to disassociate them from each other. And then they can be reconstructed or flushed out of the system, whatever you have to do with it. But it's as simple as the chemistry that is squirted out, literally squirted out, instantly, thousands and thousands and thousands of molecules attached to one another in such a specific manner to go out and do some exactly specific function to make you healthy or to create chemistry in your body that facilitates your survival. Now, whether it breaks something down, whether it builds something, whether it creates attachment spot, whether it creates some kind of flexible fabric or some kind of stiff structural component, enamel. There's so many different variations of chemistry in your body. There is no way this was accidental. All right, so they got to stop thinking along those lines too. Well, just all the things bumped together, so we don't have to really think much. No, there's a lot more to it. It's a program that's built right into all of what they call, well, you got programs built into your DNA and RNA and all these other places. They know exactly how to deal with things. But we have tried to circumvent the natural way of dealing with things. And it's been known for forever that we can deal with these things in a natural way and create health. And we're missing it. All right, my friends, this is Roger, and I am having my extremely serious voice today, and I am extremely serious in what I'm going to be talking about. And if you know anybody that has kids, or you have kids, or you know anybody that will ever want to have kids, listen to this and listen carefully. The gut microbiome, the bacteria that is in your gut and the brain. They've done a bunch of research on this. This goes back to 2014. And I'm just going to cut right to the... Listen, when your brain goes bad early in life, it's because of bacteria. Here's what it says. The developmental abnormalities found in germ-free mice. So they introduce them, and they're totally reversible by colonization with intestinal bacteria early in life, but not in adulthood, suggesting that the microbiome influences brain development. Duh! This is 6 years ago, and I mean, I started in really pushing this hard years ago. I'm just hoping that but nothing seems to have changed. Completely reversible. Now, why is it not reversible when the kids get older? What happens is if you have brain damage or your neurons are literally scarred, sometimes they're never going to be able to do the things they're supposed to do. And apparently that's what they're saying. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. It's probably, in my way of thinking, I would look for some bacteria in there to repair the lost neurological abilities. And I'm telling you, I can lose my neurological abilities pretty quick sometimes. But I can get them back pretty quick too. I've been taking probiotics and eating well, and I don't drink or anything, and I just live my life as I choose. You got to get enough rest, and you got to make sure your gut's in good shape. Your gut's in good shape. I don't care what happens. You're going to take care of yourself. You're going to be good, and it's going to attack the things that are attacking you. And if you have the right bacteria in you, because the bacteria creates the enzymes, and this is exactly what they're talking about. I mean, it is so completely obvious that and listen to this. This is really interesting. I found this really interesting. Most surprising revelation of the Human Genome Project is the small size of the human gene pool, 26,000 functioning units, compared with the genomes of much simpler organisms. Rice has 46,000, 20,000 more functioning. I find this hilarious. Oh. Anyway, I gotta sit back for a second. This is just too funny. All right, I've been talking about gut health and Alzheimer's and all, autism and Parkinson's. Everything, literally everything, is because of the gut microbiome. Now, this talks all about genomics and the genome complexity conundrum, which is that we have 26,000 units and rice has 46,000. They got 20,000 more genomes than we have. Anyway, and they talk about using germ-free mice to find out all the different complexities of what happens in the digestive system. And I've been talking about this for a long time. Now, let's just cut way down here. They talk about how they did all these things with the mice and so forth. But here's the key. All right. It ends up, I go to every single time, probiotics and prebiotics. Now, it says they may limit production of D-lactic acid in the gut, but should be chosen carefully. They're very, well, you're right. It is right. That's true. That's true. I shouldn't have said it that way. Some species of lactobacillus are D-lactate producers. Now, that I don't know about, but if that's true, you want to limit this D-lactate. So high doses of beta-glucan found in oats and barley can increase intestinal permeability. I'm not sure that's true. However, this I agree with. This other thing, they say high doses of this and that. Well, what else are they doing with these people? I have no idea how they can reach those conclusions, but I can tell you this. If you don't have the probiotics in your body, these things are not going to be able to be, these oats and barleys, they're not going to be broken down, or they're not going to be dealt with by enzymes because they're not there. Simple as that. Now, but listen to this. In a single case report, so they make it almost like a single, they should have put that in bold letters. That's the way I see the way they talk about the easy way. In a single case report, a man with recurrent D-lactic acidosis, which is over D-lactic, too much, due to short bowel syndrome, who had grown unresponsive to antibiotics. So they were treating it with antibiotics, trying to kill something in him, and with dietary restrictions, was rescued from repeated neurotoxicity, breaking his brain, literally. They rescued him by a combination of Bifurcidium, Breva, Yakult, and Lactobacillus casei ceruta as probiotics, and Galacto-oligosaccharide as a prebiotic. All right? The combination, called a symbiotic, so they work together, allowed reduction in the colonic absorption of this D-lactate. So it stopped it from being absorbed. That's what they did. All right? Before, they were trying to kill off something. This just stopped it from being absorbed. It did its job. But these bacteria, so by limiting the growth of D-lactate producing bacteria. These other ones, these prebiotics and probiotics, limited this other bacteria. So it kept it in check, stimulating intestinal motility, which means everything moves good. No dietary restrictions were needed. It was rescued. It was rescued. Why are we not looking into these probiotics and prebiotics in an extremely aggressive way? They're giving billions of dollars for vaccines, and I'm telling you right now, this is not a good idea to be cutting and splicing into our genetic material. Not a good idea at all. They have very little idea what they're doing. In my world, I don't think they have even a clue. They're stopping something from happening, but your body was designed in a certain way, and I was in the programming and the software development world, and very rarely could you make an adjustment somewhere that didn't require getting back to the source. The source code is the operation manual. All right, that came from God. I don't care what anybody says. That is, nobody ever could possibly create the elegant, absolutely stunning complexity of life other than God. It's not accidental bumping of molecules. Absolutely insane. Anyway, I always get off on these, but everything's based on insanity. Literally everything that you have been told in your life is based on insanity. I'm sorry. Hello, my excellent, wonderful friends. This is Roger again. And before I even start, I just want to point out Jesse Garant. This ad just popped up. Now, I have dealings with Jesse for years ago. They did 7 CAT scans for us. They are the best CAT scan place in the world. The best. Unbelievable. The quality, the service. Unbelievable. And I never say that about anybody. Jesse, Fabio, you guys are the best. Now, and today, if you stick with me today, we are going to get so deep into the deepest depths of depth that you have ever been into, because it appears that they are watching the research we're doing at Mudfossil University. They're starting to now talk about the viruses and the bacteria and the balances of each other in the gut microbiome. This is just today. This is stuff I've been talking about for years now, and they still don't understand it. They don't understand the bacteria makes the viruses. It's not they're two separate things. If you don't have the bacteria, you will not get the virus. What is a virus? A virus is an enzyme. The enzyme is the chemistry set. Now, not only did I get this today, but wait till you see this. All right, this just absolutely blew me away. Somebody sent me this. They just discovered interstitium. I've been working on that for years. And I've got correspondence going back with Gil Hedley back to 2014. They just discovered it, they said, in 2015.
Researchers have found multiple new body parts, including some you could even see with the naked eye. Here are 4 of them. First, there's the interstitium. And for you etymology fans, yep, interstitium literally means in between. But
now, I've been showing this over and over. Tyson and I. Tyson has places where he's got them the size of basketballs. All right, these balls here. And then the straps run between them. Now, when I talked with Gil Hedley, he was looking at this stuff, and they just used to cut this out and throw it away. They call it fuzz. And what would happen is when they cut into things, I guess it would drain, and they would think it was just sort of fabric-y fiber that was there to buffer things, and they would cut it and throw it away. And he was talking about it as fuzz. And he did autopsy, so the people are dead already, and he's cutting into them, and the fluid's gone, and he's finding all these fibers. So then we started talking, and we ended up understanding, I called it fascia, and fascia-facilitated fossilization, because they always kept that coating. That coating was the protector on literally all my stuff. Like this bone right here. You see? These are, it didn't get down to the bone. This is the fabric. that coats the bone, the periosteum they call it. But the bone gets invaded. It's called nucleophilic invasion, and which means it gets replaced. It was calcium carbonates and calcium molecules, a lot of that in there, and somehow Ca2 plus, I just think is it must have been attached to something else and it drove it away. Or it converted it somehow. I don't know exactly how it changed. But it was probably in some salty waters and then got cleaned up with some fresh waters, or the other way around, or I don't know what happened to it. But it's stabilized in a condition where the blood vessels are there, the periosteum, the cartilage, the ferritin, everything except the bone. That's what right there is left of the bone. Not a lot of bone in this bone. But everything is so well articulated. It's just fabulous to work on this stuff because you can see every detail. And I could see all the fibers and all that stuff. And I could see all of this stuff too. Like you said, you can see it with the naked eye. And you should see the ones you can see with the naked eye to Tyson. And so they're all over the world. But Tyson just happens to have a place that he is willing to work. And we need that. We need somebody to do that. I had expected that the academia would want to engage. They just don't want to do it. So anyway, this is the interstitium. And this, listen to this.
In between. But in between what? Well, kind of everything. The interstitium is a sort of nebulous network of fluid-filled compartments spread all around the body, but we didn't identify it until 2015. Now,
it's into 2015. I was working with Gil Hedley years before that, and they called it fuzz. I might have already talked about this, but they called it fuzz because the fluids would come out of it, and they would have all these strandy-looking things. So that's just what it is. Okay, my friends, Roger once again, and this is an article by Kelly Malcolm from the University of Michigan talking about viruses and bacteria and how they balance each other in the gut microbiome. They live with each other and some attack the bacteria. Well, the viruses are, in my world, are enzymes. Now, I'm just going to cut right down to the chase here. She's saying that when challenged with viruses or phages collected from wastewater, some of the bacteria are able to resist infection while some were not. Okay. When a particular phage comes along that can kill certain members of the population, it does so, and the resistant bacteria quickly grow out, whatever that means. Now, so something in the water is killing certain bacteria. That's the way I'm reading this. And it's killing that population of them, and they quickly grow out. Now, what is the takeaway from this? What does this mean? However, instead of permanently altering the receptor that allowed the viral penetration and potentially harming itself, some of the bacteria temporarily turn on a resistant state through a reversible process called a phase variation. So they get turned on. I've called it methylation. I don't know if that's exactly the process we're talking about here. But there are genes, and what is called is gene expression. And they say, well, you're going to have lymphoma because your gene is not being expressed. Whatever the gene is, and there'll be some number and so forth that'll say that's the area that's not working. Well, that area might be working fine. But if it sends down the command through the vagus nerves to the pancreas or to the liver or to the kidney or to the heart or to whatever it is, and the bacteria is not there to do the command that was sent, and they say, well, I was dead, the guy's dead, can't do it. That's one possibility. Another possibility is you do not have the chemistry there for that bacteria to gobble up and turn into a protein. Right? Because if you can't create the protein, you are going to be sick. It's as simple as that. Now, probiotics seem to be able to turn this around pretty quick if it's the right probiotic. Now, we need to do a lot of research in my world of thinking to see what bacteria resides exactly. Not just here and there, oh, we should take some of this, we should take some of that. I would like to know the people that are getting sick and what resides in their gut. And the people that aren't getting sick, what is different in their gut. And the people that are getting mildly sick, what's different in their gut, or in their lungs, or in their nose, or in their throat, or in their spit, or in their blood, or in their urine, feces. All of these things are information gathering places, because you are chemistry. I don't care what anybody says. This is absolute nonsense to think these things are just bumping around inside your body. There's something controlling this, and the vagus nerve is what's controlling it. You got to do some research on your own, because I think the best they're doing is giving doctors and so forth just sort of a general background. You got muscles, you got tendons, there's some blood vessels here and there. The veins only go one way, the arteries go and so forth. They have all the little vessels. He's telling me anatomy and some physiology and some, I'm sure they get chemistry, but they don't have the big picture, and they cannot speak up against the big picture. That's what I see. I could be wrong, but I think I am not. So we're going to go through all this, but this is very, very, very important that you have the right bacteria in your kids' guts, because they're going to be getting some kind of invasion for vaccines or antibiotics or some kind of food issue or some kind. They're going to probably get penetrated by something. They need their gut in absolute superb shape. And we could figure what that is. We could figure what that is. And there's no question these guys are smart enough to make that happen on a regular basis. There's not going to be a whole lot of return revenue. And I've considered all that too. Because all of that is a consideration. There's so many jobs right now created by walking around in circles. It's unbelievable. So I don't know. We could probably create a lot of pretty cool stuff if we just diverted that money into things that were utilizing the actual results of the actual experiments, and the bacteria and the natural ways of doing things. You'd have a ton of extra manpower, or who's going to employ you? I don't know. But it is a consideration. It all is. I'm just saying I'm looking for reality. If you're not looking for reality, I don't know what to say. But that's what I'm looking for. And I get a lot of back from a lot of people. None of this stuff I would know, basically, if I didn't have people responding and helping me. So I thank you all for helping me. And it's bacteria. And all of this stuff dropped on me today. Absolutely amazing. How this is all about gut bacteria and bacterioids. And these guys this is brand new. Jesse Garant, these are my friends. Jesse, you are the best. CAT scans, the best in the world. They did 7 of them for me. July 21st, 2020, viruses and bacteria. Now, and again, I don't know if I already said this, but I probably did. They're not the same. I'm sorry. The bacteria creates viruses. Viruses are enzymes. Enzymes are extremely sophisticated chemistry sets. So, if you don't have the bacteria, you cannot create the virus. If you don't create the virus, which is an enzyme, you can't go out and do the chemistry that kit is designed to do. And it is so sophisticated, we cannot provide that. All we can do is intervene and try to kill something that is, we just don't understand it. We think they're two different things. They are not. The bacteria creates a virus. If you don't have the bacteria, you're never going to get the virus. The virus is good, the virus is bad. If you don't have the bacteria, you can't create it. If you don't have the bacteria to create a virus to fight another virus, you're also against it. So you lose your balance. And they're saying all the same stuff that I've been saying. Now, but however, listen to this now. They altered mice populations with some kind of infection. And it says that it gave them, well, here, let me read it. However, instead of permanently altering the receptor that allowed the viral penetration and potentially harming itself, some of the bacteria temporarily turned on a resistant state through a reversible process called a phase variation. All right, so the phase turned on. That's methylation. It went out to try to kill the thing that was coming in to kill you. So if you don't have the phages there, you can't turn them on. Now it says, but some of members of the bacterial population, unaware of the phage's continued presence, turn off this resistance switch, leaving them susceptible to infection. So they can be infected because they don't have an enzyme to fight back, is really what it is. They think there's a switch that turns on and off, and there might be. But that switch has to be turned on with some chemistry. There's no guy in there flicking a switch. So the chemistry isn't there. The chemistry would be the bacteria. So basically what you got is the brain has a nerve that runs all the way down to the guts, all through every bit of your guts, every tiny bit of your guts. And that nerve goes to each one of these little chemical factories, and I've shown them. They're called the white blood cells. All right, now, those are the things that do the chemistry. Now, when your nerve sends a signal down, it says, I need to talk to lactobacillus such and such. And it says, I want you to go make a certain molecule. And it's just absolutely elegantly amazing, the molecule. And then it immediately squirts it out into the bloodstream. And it has an address on it that says, go find this particular molecule that we know is invading us. It's just like saying, go look for this particular kind of a ship and explode it, or shoot down this type of plane, or whatever it is. And they don't understand that specifically. It's the bacteria fighting against other bacteria. Now, I would love to be part of this research because I've been talking about this for a long time, and I have already information related to people telling me continuously that they've been taking the probiotics and it has been helping them. So, this is what's being reported. And that's all I do is report stuff. I'm not saying do this or do that. But this should not be disallowed. I'm not saying anything other than what's being stated by, research. And I'm a researcher too, so that's, well, here, I think I probably showed this, but I will again. Here. I do case studies too. I got over 2,000 mentions in papers, so I'm being understood and seen by a lot of people. Now, in the mainstream, it's really not allowed. I'm sort of snuck in. Academia, you can join academia today yourself, and they'll let you post papers there. But you're just sort of on your own island. Nobody, well, I guess people are paying attention. And actually, I guess they're writing papers about it. But anyway.